Guys, you went out to training camp on Friday to take in the Browns practice in person.
Yeah.
Get your first look at the Shedeur Sanders, Deshaun Watson, Taylor Green, Dylan Gabriel quarterback room up close and personal as they learn Todd Monken's offense. Dustin, I know you haven't been out there yet, so I'm going to let Bull and G kind of lead us into this.
You were there twice this weekend, weren't you?
Yeah.
You went Saturday?
Yeah, I went Saturday, too.
Okay.
G, what was your biggest takeaway? And Bull, after him, I want you to follow.
Yeah.
What were your biggest takeaways from Browns training camp in person?
I'm going to bury the lead. We'll get to the Watson versus Sanders, but I want to say the most impressive part that I've seen is the defense, which it's a little bit cheating. Dustin knows this. Defense is going to be ahead of the offense.
Oh, yeah.
Defense is always ahead of offense.
And there's no pad.
There's no pad,
Yeah.
so we can't even – the offensive line can't even block them. But if this was a game, there was times where the Browns' defensive line was just in the backfield and there's just nothing you could do. Jared Verse looks dominant. He looks like he's ready to go. He's talking every single play. Mason Graham and Mike Hall Jr., which is a nice surprise because I didn't think Mike Hall Jr. would be in the mix like this, but he looks like he's gaining that strength back in his leg, the quickness he's moving, getting off the ball. Alex Wright has been a monster as well, Isaiah McGuire. But defensively, Quincy Williams is out here moving around like he's a safety.
I was just about to say, he is so small for a linebacker.
He is sideline to sideline. The first day on Friday, he
had a nice pick.
Nice pick against Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Him and Carson Schlesinger, like their sideline to sideline ability to cover space almost makes it look like there's like 13 dudes out of there. And it's like every quarterback is throwing the ball. The windows are tight. The space is being condensed. And Denzel Ward and Grant Delpit are playing awesome as well. Denzel Ward, I mean, people shouldn't even throw over there the way he's looking right now. So the defense is up and running and moving around. The thing that I'm alarmed about is there are times, and Zach talked about this on the show, there are times where you can see where Deshaun Watson throws the ball and you say, oh, I remember why Deshaun Watson was good back in the day. I remember that. Throws to the outside of the numbers when he got time, when the pocket ain't dirty. He's able to push the ball past the numbers. He had a really good throw to Jerry Jeudy, who cut on the wrong foot on a deep 25-yard comeback route. And he fell down, and it would have been a perfect pass. It was a great pass. However, the
quarterback tracker said it's incomplete, so it wasn't a good pass.
You got the tracker is the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Now, but the thing that alarms me is there are throws where you're trying to figure out what is he looking at. There's throws on the goal line on Saturday where, he threw the ball and he overshot somebody, by like 10 yards. He was wide open, Wallace on the goal line. Then he threw another pick in the goal line where you're looking at it from the angle. I'm standing right behind him. I'm like, he's double covered here. So it seems like the processing is off a little bit. Coach Todd Monken talked about, hey, listen, it's install. I'm not grading it that tough. We're installing, and then we got to wait till the pads get on. I'll be at practice today, and that's why I'm interested in seeing it. But if you was to ask me, between the two quarterbacks, for me, Shedeur Sanders has had the best 3 throws of camp. So one to Casey Concepcion on a route, on an out and up. He caught the ball, went up the ladder and get it. Denzel Boston, he threw another corner route where the ball was in perfect position, one of the best throws. And then he threw another one on Saturday to Denzel Boston where he just went up and mossed the defender. Has it been perfect for Shedeur Sanders? No. There's some pre-snap stuff. He did get intercepted in one of the periods. Ross came up with a nice play. It was a 50-50 ball in the late 2 minutes. He went up. Jerry Jeudy had his hands on the ball. That was an interception. And then Grant Delpit made a break on one of his passes in the red zone where he kind of dropped the interception. But if you ask me, from the things that I've saw, if you take a look at the context and what's going on, it just looks like Shedeur Sanders is having a better 2 days that I was out than Deshaun Watson. So we'll see what it does in practice, Justin, because obviously what's going to happen is today is going to be another layer added. Now it's the protection. Now it's going to be people being physical. And now we really get to ratchet it up to see what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I was not there. You guys were there, and I talked with Zach, who's been there, and some other people that have been to practice, and I just don't see any reason why. Now things could obviously change, but I don't think it's going to change. Why Shedeur is not just going to be the starting quarterback, like from day one, and give him every opportunity.
Yeah.
He's the only guy in that room that I think has any realistic chance of being the franchise quarterback. The other guys, no chance. No chance.
Yeah.
Like, and it's hilarious to me when you hear about, like, Deshaun made the comments the other day about, like, he's open to re-signing with the Browns. And I'm like,
oh, my God, yeah.
Can't coach awareness.
Yeah.
You just can't coach awareness.
When you're the veteran, and I explain this, Coach Monken said you're the 10-year. He has a 10-year head start. He's a 10-year veteran. He's been in multiple systems. And when you understand what the defense is and you're understanding what specifically is supposed to happen, there are times where you're saying, okay, I expect it to look like this in the red zone. The thing that got me was the 2 red zone turnovers. As the veteran, you understand in your mind, we got points in the back pocket.
Right.
Don't screw it up, right? We got points. And the throws that he made, they were not they were not difficult reads. There were just guys standing there. And this is going against the 2s. This wasn't the first team defense.
Yeah.
It's the 2s.
So my observation, first of all, I was only there for 1 day so far. I want to go again later this week. But so I'm not going to overstate what I saw. Because half the time, half the time I was chit-chatting with fans.
It's hard.
I'm chit-chatting with the people that work there,
And they have 2 fields. They'll
so it's
split
hard
them on
to see
one
it.
and then
At one point, you and I were standing like in the middle. We were trying to get some shade because it was so hot there.
Yeah.
And like you're trying to watch, but it's going on at the same time. So it's hard. But based a little bit on what I saw and obviously talking to Zach and some other people, because I got a chance to talk to other people when I was there, Deshaun overalls looked terrible. Shedeur's looked okay. Well, okay is better than terrible. So I would go with okay. A couple people said Dylan Gabriel looked good. I don't know. I saw him throw a couple passes, didn't look but a couple of passes. The one thing I will say, and this has nothing to do with football, and I think you were with me, when I saw Taylor Green for the first time in person.
I told you, dude.
Oh, my God.
It's like Terrell Pryor.
Yeah.
Holy, even bigger.
That was the first, me and Bull standing there. I
said, right.
I said, wait till you see Taylor Green. He said, who's Taylor Green? He turned around. He said, who's that guy?
Yeah.
I mean,
he's the first off the bus guy.
For a second, I thought he was an offensive lineman. Not fat, but he's huge.
He's like
commands a room. I mean, he's the one guy that you're like, holy cow, like that guy.
That guy. Like he's legitimately 6'6". Like I'm 6'5", 6'4", and some change. I'm standing there. I'm like, yeah, he's legit.
He is. I mean, just from a physical standpoint,
put together.
Way better than any other.
Like that's a guy that I've said to you before, Bull. Is like if it's not going to work at quarterback, we're going to find a place for that guy.
You got to do something because he's a specimen. I mean, like he's an athlete, if nothing else. Like
I mean, if he's
find a role.
If he has a tough bone in his body, like I'm going to find a place for him. Run down and kickoff.
And maybe they can work with him and make him a better quarterback. I don't know, but man, I mean in the 6th round to get a physical
it's got some
player
things
like that.
Some things you can't coach. It's just God given,
I did think as someone, and I hadn't, you and I spent so many days in Berea. When we were on the fan, and the last 2 years I hadn't, or I went 2 years ago, but last year I didn't go at all in training camp. So I hadn't been there in 2 years, and seeing that new building and the other it's like crazy what it looks like over there.
It looked crazier.
Yeah.
I just, and the other thing, Nuggets, that I really took away from it was, and I'm glad Dustin's on the show today because I'm interested to see if you kind of ran into this at a point in time. Like, you watch him play last year, and you can almost tell that there is a new coach because you know how the sense of urgency is a little different. Like, if you were brought in by one regime, the coach isn't here anymore. It's like the practice is just crisper, sharp. It's more urgency. And you can tell people that, you may have had a little position or may have felt comfortable. it feels like everybody is under a microscope, and it's just. Have you ever played where you got a new coach?
Oh,
and
yeah.
you had that urgency of I got to make.
Well,
a
it's
play.
my second year in the league. I mean, it was a different deal. Like when we went from Tice to Childress in Minnesota, 06, 07, or 05 to 06, I should say. It was that training camp was completely different. And like for me, I was the guy that was drafted the previous year, didn't really play because I was hurt, and then so I felt like this immense pressure to like be on my P's and Q's at all times, and like it was hard. It was definitely hard. And other guys the same way. You know what I mean? Like guys who'd been around the team for a while certainly responded with a bit more sense of that urgency. So yeah, I can definitely see that. And guys always felt like if you were on a team and your coach was there for a few years and you had a spot, even if you were a backup, but you were on all the special teams and stuff, you felt like a little bit comfortable. Well, that's different because these new coaches, they're going to have their own guys, and they're going to have like, they're looking at everybody like neutral.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To try and figure out like
Right.
who's going to rise, who's going to, all that stuff.